All right, so let me go, if you could start over. So your name.
Okay.
And
I'm Jonas Bagas. I'm the executive director of TLF Share. It's an NGO working for the sexual health and human rights of gays, bisexuals, and transgenders in the Philippines.
could you tell us in a few words what you think multinational corporations could do to stand up for equality in the Philippines?
Well, I think there has to be a consciousness that promoting equality is actually good business, and there are many steps, concrete steps, that can be taken by corporations. Whether it's making sure that there are equal benefits for LGBT workers, there's safe space within the corporation to promote equality, having diversity programs that can encourage awareness within the workforce about various LGBT issues. But I think the most important step that can be taken is to prove to the government that social inclusion can happen. There are different models that can be undertaken by corporations that can give governments that model, that design to show that this can be realized.
And do you think setting out these programs can be helpful for corporate branding, or do you think they will hurt corporations in the short term?
It won't hurt in a sense that societies are actually changing, even in the Philippines. I think even the idea that LGBTs have equal rights, that they are part of our broader human family, is something that's slowly being accepted by the society. And that's where the private sector can come in and provide the leadership that unfortunately the government hasn't provided. Show that it can be done, that in a way it would also make sure that their workforce is included, and by making sure that equality is promoted, the well-being of their own workforce is also being protected. At the same time, companies are able to reach out to a segment of the market that's much more conscious about good practices of corporations, making sure that corporations that include LGBTs are gender aware and gender inclusive, are making sure that these corporations that are, sorry, I just
No, good. Keep going. I can edit it.
Okay, so making sure that corporations that are gender aware and gender inclusive are rewarded, and there's benefit to reaching out to this market.
And do you think there's a sense among younger consumers that it's hip, it's cool to be to stand for equality? That tech brands like Apple or others are pro equality. Is that coming through in the consumer market?
I think there's preference for corporations that promote equality in general sense. And it's not just around gender or SOGI, but also on other issues. I mean, if a corporation brands itself as something more inclusive, then there's certainly a market for that.
What would you say is the one thing the corporate head of a multinational corporations in the Philippines could do or say that would really send a message a really meaningful message about the corporate position?
I think that promoting LGBT rights is actually good business. It doesn't hurt the private sector to make sure that when it comes to the private sector, everyone is equal. It's a level playing field for everyone.
And what more do you think corporations could do to push the government to do more domestically for LGBT citizens?
I think these inclusive policies need not be simply internal. It can reach out to governments and show that there are models for social inclusion, that when private sector can do it, the government can also do it.
Anything else? Any other advice you have for multinationals?
I think multinationals these days can step up and be ahead of the government and demonstrate that equality is also within the ambit of their own interests, and they should be part of that growing movement internationally that promotes equality, whether it's in the area of private sector or public sector.
Great. Awesome.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's awesome. We'll edit it a bit.